Suspension is really, really good. Like I said, that suspension works good for me. Great little bike. Woo! Going 48 down the hill here. 49. Right at 50. 53. Woo! Yep. These are two of the most awesome bikes from Goat PowerBikes. In the front here we have the Mini Goat version 2, and this is the new King Goat. The purpose of today's videos, I just wanted to show you a quick size comparison between these two bikes so you can see what they look like size-wise and maybe help you make a decision on which bike you would like to have. So please come along with me on today's adventure. And first, let's start off with some quick specs and features. I may not remember all of them, but I'll quickly go over the important things here. Both of these bikes are full suspension. Both of them have inverted front forks. They're both made by a company called Trauma. And I can tell you right off the Mini Goat here, and I took the guards off the front of it because you couldn't see the gold forks. But anyway, you can kind of see this is about the amount of travel you have on the Mini Goat here. And I know for a fact the King Goat here has 100 millimeters of travel, so you can already see it's going quite a bit more. So yeah, the front forks are definitely better on the King Goat, but this bike is also much smaller than Mini Goat is, so it doesn't need quite as big a fork, so it will look pretty silly with those on it. So next, let's move on to the brakes. These 180 millimeter rotors on the Mini Goat here, at least on the front, and I believe this one back here in the back is 203. As you can see, it's quite a bit bigger. It's paired with these Kurosawa 4-piston hydraulic brake in the front and the rear, and these brakes on the Mini Goat here are just mineral oil, as you can see there. So now let's compare it to the ones on the King Goat. You can already kind of tell these look a lot different. Got a little reservoir. You move around to this side. I do believe these are made by the same company, but this one here, you can see right on it, says .4 fluid. And it does have the motorcycle type connectors, and these feel really good. Front and back have the same size rotors, and they're both 220 millimeter. And you can see the size differs also in the calipers. Look how big these are. These are huge in comparison to the ones on the Mini Goat. Of course, Mini Goat would probably look a little silly with these, but I do wish the Mini Goat ones did have the .4 fluid, because yeah, these feel so much better. They really do. They're both really good, but the brakes on the King Goat here are excellent. Next, let's talk the handlebars and the headlights. When you look at the handlebars on the Mini Goat, they look pretty much exactly the same on the King Goat. These are much higher, obviously, because the whole bike is higher. And then if you look at the headlights and the turn signals, they are exactly the same on both bikes, and the same way with the tail lights. You do have the same tail lights, and these tail lights are really good, and the turn signals are very bright. Like I said, they are the same light on both. And next, we'll talk about the fenders here, and they both do have metal fenders, as you can see here, on the front and on the rear. I really like the way they have these on the Mini Goat here. It's really nice and stable, and so is the one on the King Goat, though. You know, it only has 2 points where it's attached, but man, this is really wide, really heavy duty here, so it also does not go anywhere. And I did not talk about the rear suspension before, so let's go into it now. And they both have Fast Ace shocks in the back here. They're pretty similar. I do believe the one on the King Goat over there is probably a little heftier, but this one does not have but what the King Goat has is different. It also has this additional linkage down here to give it even better suspension. And even though they both have really good suspension, I'll show you here in a second how it looks. But yeah, I would definitely say the suspension is superior on the King Goat. Now let's talk about seats. Not really quite a fair comparison right now, because they did upgrade the seat on the Mini Goat, and I put this nice Tapia seat, which is excellent. But I'm going to show you the stock seat that came with it, and it looks very similar to the one on the King Goat, but it is not the same. This is made out of a different material. This is kind of like a cloth material, and it's not very soft at all. It is pretty firm. That was one reason why I really wanted that Tapia seat, and it made a huge difference. Now, this is the seat that comes on the King Goat. This is the stock seat. It looks very similar to that one you seen that was on the Mini Goat, but man, it is much, much softer. I think for most people, this seat is going to work just fine. But like my buddy Bruce in Maryland, he did not like this seat so much, even though it is much softer than that one that was on the Mini Goat. So for him, I would definitely suggest getting like one of these Tapia seats. And just so you know too, this Tapia seat here will fit on the King Goat as well. It is the same seat, and also the same seat that fits on the Motor Goat. There is additionally a seat like this you can get, a Tapia seat that is really long. But then if you put that one on, you of course won't be able to put the second battery on. But if you put that one on, it would go like all the way up to here. It'd be really nice and long. But honestly, and like I've seen a couple other people say, and I think this Tapia seat is, if you kind of look at this one, I probably need to measure these. I think it is slightly longer. Because yeah, if it went to about here, it'd be perfect. That'd be my only thing, is I think they need to get slightly longer, and I do believe this one is. So I'm going to measure it right quick. All right, I already did a couple of measurements there. It appears I'm wrong here, because I think these are exactly the same length. Because when you put them up here, this appears to be about 18 inches. Yeah, this looks to be same. And a matter of fact, we can use the original mini goat seat here, because it is, like I said, identical to this, other than the material used. See, it's the same size. Let's just measure it from the bottom. That way we know we're getting an accurate measurement. Yep, it's right at 18.5 inches. So yeah, I was hoping maybe this one's a little longer. I think it's because this piece is a little bigger and it sticks back a little more. But man, that is an excellent seat, that Tapia seat is. Definitely cannot go wrong with a good Tapia seat. All right, next let's talk battery. These look very similar with the stock batteries. As you see, this fits in this big area here, and you take these side panels off on either side. But you will see that panel on the King Goat is a little bit larger, but both these batteries are the same size. They're 72 volt, 40 amp hour, but you can get a 50 or a 30 in the mini goat. And with the King Goat, you can only get this 40, but the controller is down in this area. That's why it has this extra space down here, whereas the controller in the mini goat is under the seat. But the key differences between these stock batteries, even though I have the middle of the road 40 amp for the mini goat, and you can see I also have the additional 20 amp up here. We'll get to that in a second. But the difference is this battery is made for the controller in the mini goat, and this controller in here only puts out like 60 amps. So this battery is really attuned to that. Now with the King Goat, this battery won't necessarily work too well in that one, because this is a 95 amp controller in it, and this battery is made for that size controller, so it does draw more power than the one in the mini goat. And the same way with these additional 20 amp hour batteries. So you do not want to get the 20 amp hour battery for the mini goat, because initially I thought, well, it looks the same, it should work, but it does not, because it will, but you don't want to really do that. Let's put it that way, because this one here is only made to put out that 60 amps, just like the battery down here. Same way here, this battery is made, like I said, for that 95 amp controller. So there is a additional 20 amp hour battery that looks just like that one that will fit right up here on the King Goat as well. Just know there is a difference between them, and you really should get the one made for that particular bike. And the shape of this 40 amp hour down here is a little different than that one too, so I don't think those are quite interchangeable either. But overall, just know there right now there is more battery options for the mini goat, because like I said, you can get the 30 amp hour, the 40, or the 50 down here in the frame, and then you can additionally get this 20 amp hour battery for the top. Because right now with the 40 and the 20, I have 60 amp hours, and it gets crazy range, like almost 70 miles, which is really, really good. Now onto the drivetrain part of these bikes. So you have a very tiny little small chain ring in the front on the mini goat, and it does have a, I think that's probably around a 20 tooth or so sprocket in the back, and it just has this chain tensioner on it. And it does work with pedal assist, even though these crank arms are really short on there, but you can't really put long ones or they'd be hitting the ground. So just keep that in mind. Now on the King Goat, it's completely different. And as you can see, I took the chain guard off mine. Now I can really show you how this is all set up. This looks more like a electric dirt bike, because this motor is a lot more like an electric dirt bike. This is a mid-drive. But anyway, the part we're talking about right now is the pedals. But yeah, you can turn these pedals, and if you turn them backwards like that, you hear nothing. It does not click, anything like that. But it does work with pedal assist, just like it would on a normal bike like this mini goat. And it does give you a small amount of resistance, so you feel like you're doing something. But yeah, it's not a lot of resistance, but you do get a really small amount. And you can see a huge difference in the chain. This is no regular bicycle chain. This is freaking huge compared to the one on the mini goat here, because you can see this is a regular bicycle chain, and this is the King Goat chain. And you do have a pretty nice size sprocket in the back here, and that small sprocket in the front, which leads to the next thing. Let's talk about the motors. We'll start with the mini goat here. This is the version 2 of the mini goat, so it does have the 3,000 watt nominal motor that peaks at 5,000 watts here in the rear, and that is a direct drive motor motor, and it is completely silent. Really love that silent power that the Mini Goat has. Now, with the King Goat, we have something completely different. King Goat here, you have a mid-drive motor. Like I said before, this looks a lot like the E-Moto motors, like a Ceron or a Dirt Goat, but it is a little bit different because it has these pedals made into it. So it is kind of a unique motor because it doesn't look quite like the mid-drives on a regular mid-drive e-bike. It is different than that as well. But this is a 3,500 watt nominal motor, and it peaks at 8,000 watts. And currently it's kind of tame right now, the King Goat is, but that will be getting changed very soon because they're coming out with a new controller for this thing, and as soon as I get that, I'll put it in and make a updated video to show you how it performs once we get the new controller. But from everything I've seen, the second mode, which is like the normal mode, will already be doing what the sport mode does now. So it should be quite a big difference, and the maximum torque mode will actually give you maximum torque. It may not give you quite as much top end speed, but it's going to give you more torque. And then the sport mode, of course, should be really fast. Should hopefully give us over, they're saying now, at least over 60 it should give. So we'll see. Hopefully a little more. But just keep that in mind. I know they originally said 70 on the site because that's the same thing I saw too. But yeah, let's just go with 60 plus. That's the expectation that it will do. So it should be kind of in comparison with my Spark Cycle Works Brute there. And maybe that's another video I'm going to try to do for you as well. Compare this one and that bike. But today we're just comparing the two Goat. There's another thing I want to add too, is I do see that they did update the weight of the Mini Goat on their website finally, so this is really good. And they also changed the rider weight limit on it as well, which totally changes everything. So now my initial video I did on this is completely wrong, because now see the bike weight on the Mini Goat is 130 pounds, and that would be with just the stock battery. Now I'm sure that's probably with the 30 amp hour battery, but with this 40 and that 20 up there, I do believe mine weighs about 150 right now. And the weight limit totally changed too. The weight limit was pretty low before. Now they're saying the max weight limit on the Mini Goat is 400 pounds. So pretty much anybody can ride it too now. And one of the big differences here is the seat height. The seat height on the Mini Goat here is 29.5 inches. So let me show you what that looks like with me sitting on it at 5'10". And keep in mind I do weigh about 215. Easily to get on, very easy to get on. And there's the suspension. I mean, I can kind of have my knees curved a little bit. I'm very comfortable sitting on this bike just like this. No problems getting on and off. And this is one thing that really stands out about this bike that I really like. It's very good for commuting because of its size. Because of its smaller size, it fits in more places, and it's just easy to get on and go, because all I got to do is just stand back up, step off, and that's it. Easy, really easy. Like I said, that suspension works good for me. Great little bike. Now, with the King Goat here, this bike weighs 179 pounds. It has a max rider weight of 450 pounds. And the seat height is much higher on this one. It's 34.7 inches. So once again, I'll show you what it looked like sitting on it, 5'10". All right, show you what it looked like on it at 5'10", and keep in mind I weigh about 215 pounds. And you'll see that I have a little bit more trouble getting on this one, but it's still pretty easy. Can step over it pretty easy, as long as I don't have anything on the back of it. That's the reason why I never liked the rear racks on the these moped style bikes, because they just impede me from getting on and off. But I could probably do it on the Mini Goat, it wouldn't matter. But this does fit me quite well, and said I can still flat foot this bike. Suspension is really good, even better than it is on the Mini Goat. They're both really good. Got really good suspension. And this is what it looked like. The max pedal height comes up to about there, so it's pretty comfortable. And then at the lowest point right there, so it's really made for my size. Or my height at least. Probably help if I weight a little less. I go even faster, but only so much I can do there. Anyway, that is the comparison of the size. And as far as the length goes, I don't know if you noticed earlier, they're almost the same length. I think the King Goat is a slight bit longer, but it is definitely taller, as you see. But other than that, the length is really about the same, and the camber of the front forks are about the same. So they both do really well. Both these bikes do really well at higher speeds. They're really smooth and really stable. Now, we'll go on to something else here. Some minor annoyances. The Mini Goat does have one thing that really annoys me. That kickstand right there. And the reason why that kickstand bothers me is when you pedal it backwards, that's what happened right there. So you end up seeing that mark on it because when you try to push it backwards, it won't go anywhere because that crank arm catches on the kickstand there. But you see they did fix that on the King Goat. That is not a problem at all in here, and it does have a heavier duty kickstand on that. But as you can see, that pedal comes nowhere near that kickstand, which is a great thing. So I'm glad they did change that on the King Goat. Other things to mention here is the tire size difference, of course. The Mini Goat has a 16-inch and bicycle tire sizes. This will be a 16-inch tire. And motorcycle tires, which this is an actual motorcycle tire, it's a 12-inch. And this front one's 3.5 inches wide. I do believe the rear one is 4. Yes, the rear one is 4. So you see 4 inches with 12. So just keep that in mind. It is a little harder to find the like the tires and the tubes for this bike, being it is a kind of a different size, I think. Now, with the King Goat, it's got what you would call them bicycle size tires, 20 inches. Of course, then motorcycle sizes, that is 16. But your standard size bicycle tube should fit right in here, because that's what it looks like is in there. You can get the regular 4-inch wide ones and it should fit right on there with no issues. Keep that in mind. And it does also have motorcycle tires, as you can see, kind of a hybrid pattern that rides really great, really smooth. Both of these do, the tires and the Mini Goat, really good tires as well. Much better than those regular bicycle tires, that is for sure. They're minor annoyance about the Mini Goat is when you put this extra battery on it. I really hate this cord right here. It's really kind of annoying how this sticks out of here. But at least once you get it in there, you can just plug it with the regular charger and it'll charge both batteries. But it also does have its separate little charger that'll fit in this plug too. You can pull it off and charge it. And I'm not sure yet how bad that's going to be on the King Goat. I do plan on getting that battery, but when I do, I'll put it on there, then we'll see how annoying it is. Hopefully they've this looks like it's a little further out to me, so maybe there's a little bit more space on it now, but we will see. Other than that, and these bikes are both excellent bikes. I love both of them. They're awesome. I know this one's going to get even better than it currently is, and this one's already just fantastic. So maybe that's the next part of this I'll do, is I'll take both of them out for a quick ride. I don't know if I'll do that today. I'm going to try to take them both out for a short ride with you, and that way we can compare the sound of them and the speed. All right, first we're going to start with the Mini Goat here, and I do have both these up on start strength 5, so both bikes are already there, so that way it'll make them the same. My mirror adjusted, and let's go. Put it on up in the pass 5. First thing you notice about this bike is how quiet it is. It is very quiet. Pretty much makes no motor noise. It is fairly jumpy off the line up there in start strength of 5, which I don't mind at all. But like I said, as you can tell, it is a very quiet bike. I do like that silent power that it has. One thing I will warn you with this bike though, it is really low to the ground, so when you make sharp turns on this bike, do make sure you put the foot in the direction that you're turning. Sure you put that one up, or at least put it level, because if you don't, it will hit the pavement. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, they put these short crank arms, and that does help some keep it from doing that, but yeah, it is still pretty low to the ground. But the advantage of it being that low to the ground is it really gives it a nice low center of mass and makes it handle curves really, really nicely. The sound you hear from this one every once in a while is that front suspension up there when you hit something pretty hard. Other than that, it is pretty much completely silent. So this is one of the things I really like about it. So like I said, put my right pedal up when I make these turns. Like I said, that way there's no chance of it hitting the ground. Woo! Going 48 down the hill here. Slow down a little bit because we got a turn right here. But both bikes handle very good. Let's go down about right here. We'll just not do a full speed test, but we'll just quickly kind of show you what kind of speed it'll do here. Dang blinker off. Here we go. Let's see what happens if I do the throttle and pedal. Already doing 48 or 47.7 at least. 49, right at 50. So So we make 50 mile an hour before we reach the curves. Pretty darn impressive. Said this one does max out at, it says 5,000 watt. I suspect it really does a little bit more than that. But man, such a good riding bike though. So smooth, so stable. Like I said before, completely silent. Oh, and we got peacocks in the road. Peacocks in the road. Stop here and do the little hill climb test right quick. How quickly it'll go up there. Do that throttle only. To reach about 33 going up the hill. And there's the deer, always hanging out here somewhere in the neighborhood. Alrighty, and there we go. That is the mini goat. Take a quick look here. Speedometer app. You have to mess around with this app now to get it to work right. That little loop we did was only 3.2 miles, and the top speed we achieved was 50.47. Very impressive. Awesome little bike. Alright, now it is the King Goat's turn, so go ahead and take it out here. And now it's in park. Like I said, the display looks very similar, but instead of having the numbers like the mini goat has, I have 5 pass levels on it. This one goes from park, eco, normal, max torque, and sport mode. So yep, we'll be doing this in sport mode. I've already got it already up in the intensity of 5, so I'll be going to full speed. So here we go. It's a little jumpy too, especially when you use the pedal. You just really make it jump. At least at the low end. It doesn't go as fast that way, so if you use the throttle, very tame. Even in intensity 5. And you can tell already that it does make quite a bit more motor noise than the mini goat does. Ooh, and that sun's getting like right in the wrong place, or I can't see where I'm going. So as you can see, it makes quite a bit more noise than the mini goat. Suspension's a little better. And it does make some more noise, but still not the noisiest bike I have. Kind of like that sound though, that when it takes off. Quickly gets up there to 8,000 watts on the display. Takes off smooth and gradual in comparison. This one you can pedal in the curves without any worry of it striking the ground. Get that over here to the same place. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing. I'll just do a quick run down there and see what kind of speeds we get. Like, so this is not a full top speed run because that's not enough runway for this bike to get up to its top speed. But let's see what it does. And we're not at 100% charge either. Should be fairly similar. Oh, there goes the random horn beep. 53. Woo! Yep. So about 3 mile an hour faster at that point. Yeah, they still have not done the update yet. Should have been a couple of days ago, but yeah, it seemed like it got delayed, and they've been testing it, having me check it, but it hasn't showed up quite yet. But he did say hopefully by tomorrow. Awesome riding bike. Just like the mini goat, they're both really nice. I see this one does have a little bit better suspension, but they're both good. Both suspension, they're pretty darn good. And of course, these brakes, like I said before, are a little bit better as well, because they are the .4 fluid brakes. Let's see what's here. We'll do the same thing we did on the other one, and I'll go up the hill and test this right quick. Right at almost 36. Not bad. Alrighty. My blinker off. Once again, this is the King Goat. So as you can see, it's a little bit faster right now. I suspect that's going to be a lot more once we get the new controller. But man, it's already pretty darn good. Very good bikes, both of them. Very fast, very stable, very smooth riding. Also, too, want to check my speedometer out right quick if it recorded. Yeah, it's doing that crazy bugged out thing again. Let's see. Usually when it does this, you got to force it to close and then the stuff shows up. There we go. So same distance, 3.21 miles, and the max speed on this one was 54.31. Like I said, keep in mind that is not the top speed on either one of these. Need a little more runway for that, but gives you a good indication that this one's a little bit faster than that one. Thank you so much for coming along in today's adventure of the dueling goats. I hope it helped you make a more informed decision of which one of these goats you would like. If you're looking at these two, and keep in mind the other goats are really good bikes as well. Can't go wrong with any of them. They're all excellent bikes because I have had quite a few of them now, and I loved every one of them I had, and still love the ones they do have. So keep that in mind. So there you have it. In the comments below, please let me know which one you think is the best. And thank you so much for coming along on today's adventure. Please check out my links in the description below. I'll put a link to both of these bikes down there. Please like, subscribe, and share my video with others. And I'll see you in the next one.